Good, you're back. I'm Neom, and today's episode is about Marvin Heemeyer. Please remember to leave a like if you enjoy, and subscribe for more videos. Let's get into it. Marvin Heemeyer moved to Granby, Colorado in the early 90s, where he purchased 2 acres and opened a muffler repair and body shop. He was soon approached by the Dotcheff family and offered $250,000 for his land in order to build a concrete factory. At first he agreed, but soon raised his price to $375,000 and then to $1 million. Unwilling to pay this absurd amount, the Dotcheff family instead opted to build their concrete factory somewhere else. Unfortunately, that somewhere else was right next door to Marvin's mufflers. Somehow they got permission to build it in such a way as to almost completely block access to the body shop. Heemeyer was outraged by this and begged the city to build a new access road so that he and his customers could reach his shop. He even bought a bulldozer and offered to dig the new road himself, but they rejected his request. To add insult to injury, they fined him for having unsightly cars littered across the lot. At this point, Marvin was so heated you could have popped some Redenbacher butter lovers just by walking it by him. But then, the city made its fatal mistake. Marvin was sitting in his shop, mufflin', when a letter came in. He grabbed his letter opener. Oh, for those of you who don't know what that is, a letter is a message that's written or printed onto a piece of paper, put in an envelope, and delivered to that box by your driveway by a guy who can't decide whether his legs are hot or cold. Heemeyer read the letter to discover he was getting yet another fine, this time for not being connected to the city's sewer system. The problem is that he was, until his road access was cut off by the concrete plant. That was enough. The city didn't care, the Dotcheff family didn't care, his pen pal didn't care. It was time to take matters into his own hands. Luckily, Marvin just happened to have a bulldozer on hand, and plenty of experience with welding. He put his resources together and created the behemoth now famously known as the killdozer. Presumably using magic and maybe a carjack or two, Heemeyer lowered a 2-foot-thick, concrete, steel-plated shell onto the dozer. It was also outfitted with air conditioning, multiple guns, and even cameras for him to see by that were protected by bulletproof glass and had little nozzles to blow debris off the lenses. By the time it was complete, it was way too big to fit through the garage door, so he simply drove it straight through the wall of his shop and made his way into downtown Granby. But not before passing through the concrete plant first. Literally. Sir, do you know the Mufflin Man? The Mufflin Man? The Mufflin Man. The one that lives on Drury Lane? Well, he doesn't live there, he just works there. Except it's technically not on Drury anymore since we cut off his road access and, well, what about him? He's, running rampant through the town, driving through buildings, and oh heck no, not the ice cream parlor, please send help now. And then there's just a bunch of exclamation marks and tears. For the next 2 hours, citizens ran screaming as Heemeyer demolished building after building, targeting everyone whom he felt had wronged him, including the house of the mayor, the police department, and the local newspaper. Police tried in vain to stop him, using guns, blockades, and small explosives. They even considered bringing in the military. Marvin's goal wasn't to hurt any people, just a whole lot of property, and by the time his transmission failed and he got stuck in the wall at the local hardware store, he had wreaked $7 million worth of havoc. With his goal accomplished, Marvin took his own life before the police could cut their way into the killdozer, and his story is remembered by millions. In the end, the town of Granby treated Marvin pretty harsh and unfairly, but it's also true that Marvin's retaliation was extremely disproportionate. Despite that, he's become something of a folk hero to internet users across the world. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe for more content, ring the bell to be notified about new videos, and comment what you want to learn about next. I'm Neom, and I'll see you next time.